In my annual presentation last year, I ran through the 15 leading causes of death, exploring the latest science on the role diet may play in preventing, arresting, and even reversing some of our top 15 killers. Or if you remember, actually our top 16 killers, since side effects from prescription drugs kill an estimated 106,000 Americans every year, the sixth leading cause of death may actually be doctors. And that's just from adverse drug reactions. Add in medical mistakes, which the Institute of Medicine estimates kills at least 44,000 Americans every year, and that brings doctors up to here. Throw in some hospital-acquired infections, and we're talking maybe 187,000 Americans dead every year and millions injured by medical care. Even preventive medicine kills in its own way. The best way to avoid the adverse effects of medical and surgical tests and treatments is not to avoid doctors, but to avoid getting sick in the first place. So this year I thought I'd run through the top dozen reasons people visit their physicians to highlight some of the latest research in hopes of moving me down the list of common killers. The number one primary disease diagnosis at office visits is a respiratory disease, like a common cold. Most Americans report between 2 and 3 colds a year. This year I featured evidence suggesting that simple water gargling is effective to prevent upper respiratory tract infections. This virtually cost-free modality would appreciably benefit people, but that's the problem, right? It's cost-free, right? Nobody makes any money off of it, right? That's why you've probably never heard of this research, right? Whenever there's a new drug or surgical procedure, right, you can be assured people will know about it because there's a profit motive, right? There's a corporate budget driving the promotion. That's why you'll never see an ad on TV for broccoli, nor for simple water, even though water may actually improve cognitive performance in school children, for example, because most kids end up in school in a state of mild dehydration. If you randomize kids to get a cup of water, you can improve their ability to think in school. Not with Ritalin or some new drug, but just plain water. Think how much drug companies could make if they could just sell sugar pills, but tell kids to take the fake pill with a cup of water. It's like using exercise to treat ADHD. Effective, but we won't hear about it because you can't put it into a pill bottle for your stockholders. And exercise can also improve immunity and decrease illness rates from respiratory infections. We're talking about a 25 to 50% reduction in sick days. Name one drug or supplement that can do that. And it doesn't take much. Let kids run around for just 6 minutes and you can boost the number of immune cells in their bloodstream by more than 1/3 in just 6 minutes. At the other end of the life cycle, exercise may help prevent age-related immune decline. Sedentary women in their 70s have about a 50% chance of getting an upper respiratory illness every fall season. But walk a half hour a day, and you may cut your risk down to 20%. And the runners in the group got it under 10. Looks like exercise can make our immune system like 5 times more effective. Now, while regular physical activity improves immune function and lowers respiratory infection risk, sustained and intense exertion can have the opposite effect, forming a so-called J-shaped curve relationship. As you go from inactive to active, your infection risk declines, but hardcore athletes that overtrain may increase their risk of infection. How do you prevent that? Marathon runners consuming the equivalent of a teaspoon of nutritional yeast a day may not only cut respiratory infection risk in half, but result in decreased confusion, fatigue, tension, anger, and, my favorite, increased vigor, thanks to nutritional yeast. Yeast are one-celled fungi. What about multicellular fungi? Mushrooms. If you split people into two groups, half on their normal diet and half eat their normal diet with cooked white button mushrooms every day for a week, no change in the control group. But after a week of mushrooms, antibody secretion jumps 50% and even stayed up there for a week after they stopped. Lots more detail in the video. I just want to touch on some of these areas. Mushrooms technically aren't in the plant kingdom, so in theory the healthiest diet may not just be a plant-based diet, but a plant and fungus-based diet, though that sounds even less appetizing, I'm afraid. But who wouldn't want 50% more antibodies? Well,